Welcome back to Philippines Uncut. I'm your host, Buddy Cunanan. Tonight's topic, very interesting, the importance of the English language. And joining us still is Chris De La Cruz, co-founder and specialist of the American Institute for English Proficiency. And joining him is his co-founder and also specialist, Paolo Magburos. Paolo, welcome to Philippines Uncut. Pleasure to have you here.
Yes.
Yes. Now, we had a very animated and very interesting conversation with Chris in the first segment. And now we're going to talk about the mechanics, the operations behind your very interesting school. But let's talk about you first, Paolo. A little bit, some background information about who is Paolo Magburos.
Interesting, because everyone who asks me why English, because I finished industrial engineering in Mapua.
Okay.
So, which is totally different from the language.
Yeah.
But like Chris, I think we share the passion in, the arts. So I think it goes hand in hand when you talk about English, because I feel like, it's an art form and at the same time it's a science. So I think it goes into well with communication. So going back into that, I think because I love arts and I did a little bit of theater, so I think it complements basically what we do in school.
You went to school here. You didn't go to the States. You didn't grow up in the
Yes.
States. Like Chris, who spent a lot of his formative years in the U.S.
That's true.
You grew up here in the Philippines.
Yes.
But by your accent, I would never have guessed. I would have thought immediately Phil maybe But very good, very good. So,
Actually, sometimes they think his accent is more American than mine.
actually, it does sound more American than yours.
Yes, simply because I'm using what we call neutral, wherein for reporting, for news reporting, this would be the preferred accent because then wherever you go, it's easily understood. It's also a teaching accent so that the students could hear, whereas Vince's accent has a bit of a twang already.
Yeah, it does have a bit of a twang. But you said it's interesting because when you talk about English, there are really different uses. No?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
true.
Like call center, maybe if your clients are in North America, then
Right.
you would have to have a North American
Accent,
/ Canadian accent. No?
In English teaching, we call that ESP, English for a specific purpose. So some of our clients are call centers. So we teach them protocols in terms of customer service protocols, sales and
Culture.
marketing, culture protocols. Now, if you are teaching lawyers, there'll be a different kind of English. English specifically for the purpose of teaching lawyers or debaters or, say, seamen.
Yeah.
Okay, for marine biologists. So there are different kinds of English, and not everyone wants to learn general English.
Yes.
They want to learn an English specifically for their profession.
So what you're saying is that in your institute, you can actually you have all these tailor-made packages or courses depending on the use what the applicant or what the student will use his English for.
That's true.
Interesting. Paolo, tell us a bit about the different packages you have. I mean, in the AVP we showed before we came on, I saw their American accent.
Yes,
So
that's
it's
true.
interesting that you have a course like this.
Yes, because I think for the most part, I mean, it goes with many things.
Yeah.
For one, we have students who wanted to apply for a call center. We have students who wanted to get promotion because they're already working for a call center. Some people just wanted to learn it because that's one of their dreams.
To boost their personality. Because here in the Philippines, if you had an American accent, for some odd reason, they look at you as a higher in status or more pogi points.
It's called mental colony.
Yes, that's
Colonial
true.
mentality.
Yes, really. Actually, when I was growing up, I was like that too. I want to have an American accent. But the older I get, the more I feel like, well, I like my accent. I wish I could try the accent still.
Yes,
I enjoy listening to the Filipino accent, so I have more appreciation now. But if you're very young and you wanted to get up in life or impress people, then yes, the American accent is the way to go.
What if someone approached you guys and said, okay, I'm going to work as a nurse in Ireland or in the UK. Do you guys have a British accent course or that kind of thing?
There, we have had requests.
Yeah, that's true actually.
But it depends on our capacity. We would say no if we don't. We had someone who was able to teach British accent, but Ireland, which is very close to the British accent, we don't have someone like that. So we would probably say, unfortunately, we don't. However, there are other schools you may want to try.
Okay,
But in the end, we always say that, you know, it's English. It's going to be the same rules, regardless what accent you use.
Yes.
People will understand it as long as you know how to communicate very well.
Paolo, is it possible for, let's say, an adult to let's say, 25-year-old, 28-year-old adult to pick up an accent? Because, you know, we know that kids who grew up overseas, Pinoys, Filipinos who grew up overseas, pick it up like a sponge, like water, a sponge.
That's true.
They just get it right away. But like later in life, is it possible to pick up an accent?
I think it's very, very possible. I didn't grow up in a family where everyone speaks English. I mean, we speak Tagalog.
How did you do it? I mean, it wasn't your home language. So how did you do it?
Well, one is because in college, I was hanging out more with people who spoke the language, and that was easier for me to hear a lot. And at the same time, I think when you could sing a little bit and carry a tune or two, I think that's very important. Yeah, and you know what? I think especially for Filipinos, I don't think that's going to be very difficult because I think it's embedded in our culture, music, and so. I mean, most people could listen to a tune and they could pick it up. I think it's just that it's a constant effort for people to mimic or to copy a sound or the intonation. It's basically copying a melody. Yeah. And I think that's how I did it.
And I think we Filipinos are lucky because we've been exposed to so many different languages.
That's true.
Right? So our accents aren't really as thick or as hard as other countries. For instance, in India, I know they are a #1 competitor in the call center business. Right. And I know for a fact that a lot of companies often bemoan the fact it's very hard to train people in India compared to the Philippines. Like Filipinos get it right away. They said the accent,
that's true.
The manner of speaking.
I mean, ever since we were born, we've heard American English from close open to to all these kinds of songs that we listen to. Even our rhymes are American. So since we were young until now, we're still so used to the sound of American English.
Yes. Now, Paolo, operations. Let's talk about the operations of American Institute for English Proficiency. What goes on? Let's say if I'm a student and I go to your school, how do you mold the student to speak better, to have that confidence, to have that strength to communicate well and get ideas across?
Well, first and foremost, when someone comes into our office, we always sit them down and do a little bit of an assessment to kind of find out how we can help them find out their goals so that we can suggest a course that they will benefit from. Okay. So whether it was a private class or a group class, or would it be grammar, or would it be IELTS or TOEFL, it's very important for us to know what exactly they need so that we would be able to give the course for them, the exact course or the right course to take.
Yeah, so each student has a different set of modules, let's put it that way.
That's true.
It's not like one size fits all. No.
That's right. Yeah, we've had students where their English was really, really good. In fact, they didn't need any more English. The only thing was the confidence. They were going for an executive position and they wanted to make sure that their English was okay. So when we listened to them, it was more about telling them that they were okay. So we didn't need to put them in a very long class. We just needed to put them in front of a classroom, have them practice their public speaking, and then tell them that they're actually pretty good. So we have all kinds of levels. But for those who are just beginning, we have to put them through grammar and writing, vocabulary development, the basics. So it's really tailor fit for everyone. Some people don't even want American accent. Yeah. So we don't put them in a class that has an American accent. We put them in the speaking and grammar class. So we have 4 classes we run every day. And in the morning, we have grammar and writing. At 1, we have public speaking and grammar. At 3 o'clock, we have the critical thinking and speech. And then at 6 o'clock, we have a combination of all the classes, including American accent.
Oh, so you have people coming in for the whole day?
The whole day,
The whole day, basically.
Intensive, boom, boom. Huh?
Some of them are there for just 2 hours. Some of them are there for the entire 8 hours. So we always advise that the more hours you practice here, the better you will be.
on average, let's say your typical student, how many months do they go through your courses until they see results, until you're confident that this person is armed with the skills necessary for this person to achieve his or her goal?
Well, first of all, I mean, when they come into to our school and enroll, they normally take packages. So it's about 40 hours normally, and that can be consumed within a month.
40 hours?
Yes, if they attend 2 hours per day. But typically, I think to be like from, let's say, zero English to a conversational level, that takes about 3 to 6 months to just build the structure,
So just
syntax.
the building blocks, the
Yes.
foundations, and then you build from there to the more advanced skills. No?
Yes, that's true.
Okay.
But for most Filipinos who are already somewhat proficient, it takes about maybe 2 months just to, because it's really more on the confidence
Sure, sure.
rather than the grammar rules itself. Because,
Sure.
like
Yeah,
for me,
that's-
for example,
you know, as Chris and I were saying, a lot of Filipinos, majority of Filipinos can understand.
Yes.
that's
But
true.
it's just that, as you said, that confidence of expression, communication. You know? Now, Chris mentioned a very interesting term. He said critical thinking.
Uh-huh.
And what role does critical thinking play in the work that you guys are doing?
Okay. Well, for us, when it comes to English, because anyone can teach English in terms of subject-verb agreement, verb tenses, types of sentences, prepositions. You just follow a book. But critical thinking, you have to have the ability to assess, to analyze, to synthesize a given information or data, make some kind of judgment about it without bias,
Very nice.
and
Very
go
nice.
through a self-disciplined process to look at this data, give judgment and opinion, and act upon it.
Very
Now,
nice.
if you can do that, you're assertive, you're confident, you're empowered.
And that really is a secret to mastering a language, no? Thinking in that
Yes.
language.
Yes, that's true.
Yes.
Because a lot of people, and I speak several languages, but not native languages for me. Huh? And I find myself oftentimes, I think in English and then I translate. What you guys are doing is you're teaching them to think
Think in
actually
English
in
already.
that language, and that is the
Yes.
key, right?
And
To
thinking
expression.
smart in
Yeah.
that language.
Yes.
Not just to think in that language, but to really assess the information, give feedback, solve problems, so that when you speak, it's well spoken rather than it is spoken.
It's a smooth process, from the
Yes.
thinking to the expression,
Yes.
seamless.
It's not just about being able to say something, but to give the best response or raise the best questions
Yes.
for a given situation. So I think that's very, very important when you communicate with people.
Now, how do you guys teach this? I mean, how do you
Yes.
teach
Well,
critical thinking?
Some of our modules are debate modules. For example, I've been doing parliamentary debate for 8 years. I was a party debater in college. So we introduce debating in the module. So we introduce philosophy,
Wow.
we introduce psychology, political
Ouch.
science, current events. For example, in our grammar and writing class,
Heavy.
yes,
Yeah.
in our public speaking class, for example, a lot of our students don't even know about the Bangsamoro or the BBL law. And so I was thinking, how come they don't know this? So I gave them 30 minutes to go on Google, find information on this one, and then present it as an
And
informative
prepare.
speech.
And then prepare to discuss with the group, share with the
yes. Yes, to discuss with the group in front, standing up. So it was a 6 to 10 minute presentation. And
It's hard, huh?
so we're incorporating current events. Yes, but that's part of critical thinking
Absolutely, absolutely.
is the ability to go into something really quick, assess the information, and still be able to deliver it as news or information rather than gossip, rumor. So if you don't have critical thinking, it might be translated as hearsay, gossip, rumor.
Very
So
nice.
it's not there anymore.
So in that sense, you guys aren't a run-of-the-mill language school. You actually are a comprehensive, holistic, I would say, personality development and communication school.
More of
Something
a
like that.
progressive approach to
Yeah.
learning English, learning communication skills. You have to be a whole person, not just a part, a two-dimensional person. You have to be really multidimensional, dynamic. Your scientific, your mathematic, your thinking should come from all those things.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And that's what language is all about. A language is a living thing, actually.
It's organic, it's fluid,
dynamic,
it's
fluid,
moving,
it's
yes.
never static.
Right.
Excellent. Guys, we have the post-term break. It goes by very
Okay.
fast. But we have one more segment. So guys, more of the importance of English when Philippines Uncut returns.